Victory and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. So if this is your first time on my channel, 3 bouts for you. Yes, of course. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back to my channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, please don't forget to subscribe now. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get updates whenever we post a new video online. Alright, so today I'm going to be sharing about 3 things I struggled with as a preacher's kid. Yes, 3 things I had to struggle with even as a preacher's kid. Now, I'm not saying that all preacher's kids struggle with the same thing, or they are struggling with the same thing, or they've had to struggle with the same thing. So this is my own personal experience, this is my story, and I am sharing this so that we can learn. And also, I have great relationship with my parents now, and so this is not in any way trying to dishonor them or make light of what they have done. So this video is actually shared into the first part, which is what I'm doing right now, is just about my struggles and what they resulted to, and the second part of the video, which is going to be about how I was able to overcome some of these things and how I was able to reparent myself to become a person who is more self-aware, a person who is more in tune with myself, who is no longer struggling with self-identity but comes from a place of clarity now and is able to do some of the things I do right now. I'm going to share all of that with you in the next video, so you need to stay tuned and come back for the next video, and that's why you need to click on the notification bell so that you get updates whenever the next video is posted, so that you would understand how I was able to overcome all of this and learn one or two. Like I said, this is my story, this is my own experience, and I'm not trying to generalize it. There might be few exceptions and different strokes for different folks. Alright, so 3 things I struggled with as a preacher's kid. The first thing is I had to struggle to fit in. So a little background, my dad used to be a general overseer of a very big church. So I was born into the ministry, right? So let's say I just grew up in the ministry, and of course, they being very zealous for God and zealous for the work of God. But then as children, there's this tendency for us to attach meanings to things, to experience, to demonstration, to tones, to different things. We just attach a meaning to it, even though that is not what it was meant for, or that is not that was not the true meaning. But then as children, would always attach meanings to those things. So for me, I saw my parents as they didn't care. I saw them as not present yet, but then they were very busy, they were very devoted workers in the vineyard of God. And so I struggled to fit in, because then there's this expectation from people for you to be a preacher's kid, for you to be a perfect example, for you to be a godlike example, and for you to follow the footsteps of your parents. So I really didn't know who to be. I really didn't know what I wanted to. So there was also this feeling in school back then that there are certain things you're not supposed to do, there are certain people you're not supposed to be with, there are certain things you're not supposed to say because you are a preacher's kid. And these very same things, other people will do them and they will feel it's right, but then you will do the same thing and you are shamed for it, or then you are called a name and you're like, you're a preacher's kid, you're not supposed to do this. Even games, I think, like I said, this is my own story. Even there were certain games I was not allowed to play because I mean, they're like, your dad is this, your dad is that, you're not supposed to be playing this kind of game. I'm like, what? So what am I supposed to do? So it made me really look for validation in people, and it made me struggle with my own truth. Like, I didn't even know what to believe in. So wherever the majority was, that's where I wanted to be, right? Wherever the majority was, whether it was right or wrong, whether it was truth or false, so far as there was a majority there, I had to go there. So I could not even stand for my own truth because I struggled to fit in. I didn't have an identity. I didn't know who I really wanted to be. All I knew was that people wanted me to be like a pastor's child or like a preacher's child, and there were just certain expectations that I didn't even know how to live by them. So it made me even want to, be part of the reigning gang then in school. Not a bad gang, but then that pepper them gang that young girls, they have this clique and all of those things. So I wanted to be part of that clique, and the leader of the clique approached me and like, if I want to join their clique, that I have to wax my hairs because I was very hairy as at then, and they're like, I had to wax my hairs and become very skinny like them. And on the second thought, I wanted to do it because I wanted to be part of something. I wanted to have an identity. I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. But then I thought about it. I'm like, what if I fall terribly ill? What if I injure myself. So I decided that I wasn't going to do it again. And so I'm like, you guys can just go deal with yourself. So that was that was the result of not having a sense of identity did to me. It made me not have a place. It made me want to be part of everything and anything. Now, the second thing I struggled with is that I struggled with having to share my parents with everybody. Yes, as a preacher's kid, of course, I feel like this is very common. You just know that your parents are not just your parents, like they are everybody's parents. And so, for me in particular, my dad wasn't always at home because there was always a member that needed him to pray for them, or there was this event or occasion he had to attend, or there was just people. It was just all about other people, right? And so you have to share your parents with everybody. So there was not really that moment where I remember having memories with them, because they were always busy and zealous for the Lord. Like, they were zealous in the work of God, and pushing the kingdom and enlarging the kingdom, of course, yes. But like I said, as children, we always attach meanings to things. So I felt like, these guys are not just presents, like they are people oriented, like people are more important than their own family members. So I think one of the memories I remember with my dad is then when I was still very little, and in primary school, dad would come to pick me back from school. Any chance he had, he would use it to come and pick me back from school. And then from the school gate till when we get home, like anything I want to eat, he would always buy. I don't know if your dad's like that, but then that was my own dad. He would always buy anything for me. And so from school gate till we get home, my mouth is always active and on something that I won't even be able to eat dinner when we get home. And so from there, we could also go and visit some of his friends. So it was more like a bonding moment for us at that point. And that's like a memory I can really remember of and my dad in my childhood. But fast forward from that point till like 18 years later, I don't remember anything, because I don't think like they were really there. It's just it's just up until my adulthood where we try to bond, we try to spend more time together, and of course my dad tells the most funny jokes, and you would always laugh when you're with him. But that's by the way. But the gap, what I'm trying to say is that period where I can't remember anything made me feel like I didn't belong somewhere. It made me lack a sense of belonging. And that's what memories do for you. Memories give you a sense of belonging. Memories make you feel like you're part of something. You look at the picture with you and your friends and you smile, because it makes you remember, or it makes you feel like you're part of something. You're part of a community, you're part of a circle, and it gives you a kind of joy, right? So that's what memories do for you. But for me, as of then, I really didn't have that memory. So I felt like I wasn't really part of anything. Like, I didn't really have that sense of belonging. So it made me feel like insecure, and I felt very conserved and reserved, right? So I was more into myself and really didn't understand the concept of relationship at any level, or the concept of friendship, because I didn't know what it meant like to fit into a community. Yes, family was there. We meet when we meet, we talk, and they are there. But then that sense of closure, that sense of bond was not really there, right? So like I said, what it made me feel like was insecure. Like I could not really relate with people, and why they wanted community, why they wanted relationship, why they wanted friends, why they wanted to just be part of all of those things. I could not relate at all, right? So that was the result of that, having to share my parents with everybody. So the third thing I struggled with as a preacher's kid was having to attend all church meetings. Yes, like I said earlier, it's not like I was compelled, it's not like I was forced, but then there's already a certain expectation of you that you have to attend, meetings, especially if you are living in the church compound, or if you're living in parsonage. There shouldn't be anything happening and you're not part of it. There shouldn't be anything happening and you don't know about it. So you are attending different meetings, you are going to different conferences, seminars, all of that. Yes, there's the positive side of that, which is that it makes you more knowledgeable about certain things than your peers. But then the other side of it is that you have an overload of information, of complex information for your level. Like, So what it resulted, or what it made me feel like, was that I had, at a point, when I go to different meetings, especially crusades, conferences, or whatever, you hear this particular preacher say this thing, and you hear another preacher say another thing, and you're like, I mean, is it not just one God? Like, why this confusion? Why this difference? So it really made me confused about my Christianity, even though I was born in the faith. It made me confused about, the existence of God. Actually, it made me doubt my faith at some point. I'm like, so why do we have people saying different things but then speaking about one God? So I was confused at some point because I had an overload of complex information. Like, so there was not really that place where those informations are broken down to the level you would understand, or the level you will relate with. As children, they have children Bible stories and all of that you're able to relate with God at your level. So as you grow on that. But now, I don't think I had any of it. I think it was more like it was a lot of knowledge all at once that I had to find my way through that confusion. I had to, at some point be like, okay, now I don't want any of this anymore, right? And it was more like I was serving a God I didn't know, or a God I was just handed to. I became very religious and just doing things out of routine instead of from a place of understanding. Like, I was just barely doing things because I needed to do them, or because I was expected to do them, not from a place of understanding, not from a place of awareness, right? So that was worth having a lot of activities. Don't need to be a preacher's kid to go through any of these things, right? So if this looks like what you've gone through, if this looks like your experience, put in the comment section what your experience was like, what your experience was like. And if there are more things than these I have shared, let me also know in the comment section. I hope to read from you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.